All right, friends. Hey, happy weekend. Hopefully your weekend turned out nice. I know it wasn't half bad up here in western New York after a cold, wet start. Now, as we head on into the new week, I did want to draw some attention to storm system set to arrive across portions of the Ohio Valley, eastern Great Lakes, parts of the Midwest here Tuesday, late Tuesday. And then into Wednesday, it looks like a changeover from rain to snow for parts of the region. A little bit of snow. It's late April. It happens, but some of the data suggesting that it could be more than just a little bit of snow. We're talking about the prospect of a half foot or more of heavy, wet snowfall. And we'll be discussing where that could be occurring coming up here in this broadcast. We appreciate you guys being on here. But a current look outside, man, it looks nice. Currently, view here, as we look out towards Lake Ontario in western New York, it's beautiful. It was a great looking day today, and no problems expected today, tonight. But as we head on into, as mentioned, by late Tuesday, I think we'll begin to look and watch conditions as they go downhill. It is 7:40. This is going to be a short broadcast, looking on the order of about 10 to 12 minutes or so. And so if you guys don't mind helping to get the word out that we're on here, as always, it's appreciated. I did just share it over with my friends on Twitter and also on Facebook. But as you know, Facebook, they don't always share YouTube links very good. So if you guys can do your part helping to get the word out that we're on here, as always, it would be greatly appreciated. I'm trying to get this up over to our main Facebook weather page. In the meantime, let me check in to see who's on here, and we'll jump right on into the details here in about 30 seconds from now. We've got Pat Cunningham. We've got Joey in the house. Time to move to Tennessee. New York is getting unbearable, and he's not just talking about weather, I think. JC Toad on here. Appreciate you stopping by. Dee Dee as well. And while you're here, maybe you guys can hook us up with a thumbs up like of the program. It's appreciated very much. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the data as it's coming in. We'll start you first with what's happening right now. Current radar giving you the impression that really things are not too bad. Overall, pretty quiet. We'll take those temperatures as you're looking across the Midwest right now. Widespread 60s. We've got 70s across the Southeast as well. So some nice, very nice looking conditions as we start off the work week, finish up the weekend. But we're beginning to see the changes taking shape off to our west, where we are seeing the colder air that's beginning to invade the lower 48s, and we are going to see a front that moves through. And let me highlight where this front is located at. And you can see, here we go, put this into motion for you. So while it's like, look at Minneapolis. Front just moved through. 63 earlier this afternoon. Now the temperatures are tumbling quickly. For Minneapolis, St. Paul, you head behind the front, you fall into the 40s and 30s. Right now, temperatures are in the upper 20s to around 30 degrees from Grand Forks to International Falls, southern portions of is that Manitoba, Alberta, Canada. So there's cold. The cold's going to be coming, so we'll watch the first part of this arriving in the form of a cold front, and then quickly behind it, that next storm will be arriving, and that's the one that's going to bring a secondary low pressure that looks like it's going to spin right up the spine of the Rockies. So here's the satellite perspective. Let me point out a couple of features here for you. And you can see first front, which is located right here, as we just showed you, cutting across the Midwest, and then okay, so that moves through. That's going to move from northwest to southeast here tonight and through the day on Monday. That's going to set the stage for the cold to begin to arrive, and that next storm, as we take a look at what's happening in the jet stream winds, it's not real obvious, but it's here. There's a fairly pronounced wave of low pressure, very amplified pattern out west as well. So you've got ridging that's taking shape all up and down, all the way up into northern Canada. And then it crashes right down the spine of the Rockies, British Columbia, and into the west. Well, embedded right here, where I'm showing you, right here, that's that next low pressure. That's going to redevelop on the lee of the Rockies, and then it's going to travel east. It's going to pull on some of the cold that's available, and that will allow for that changeover from rain to snow to occur. So this much is coming our way. Take a look at a few of these weather models for you. So this is Tuesday night. You can see that band of snow. It kind of looks like a deformation band. That's a band on the backside of a pretty stout low pressure system that's going to have lots of lift in the atmosphere, and that will give us that window of what we think will be, again, appreciable snowfall for some. It's late in the season. Look, today is April 18th. We're talking about arriving late on the 20th and into the 21st. By the way, my mom's birthday is the 21st, so I want you guys to think of her. Happy birthday, Mom. How about a little bit of snow? That's not going to make her happy. But again, it does. It's definitely worth noting, and there is going to be some cold air associated with this, and with that cold air, there are going to be the possibility of some, frost advisories, maybe some freeze warnings that come down with this as well. Weather Service has not issued a winter storm watch, but I think it's coming, and as mentioned, we'll be looking at some cold air coming our way as well. Here's a look at the center of the U.S., and that's where we do have active advisories that are in effect. That's a frost advisory, I believe. No, freeze watch. Excuse me, freeze watch across the central parts of the United States right now, and pretty good bet that that's going to be expanded, and warnings will likely be issued. So if you do have cold sensitive plants, tender vegetation, if you will, it's time to start thinking about taking precautions. Now, the good news is about the snow is that so much of that snow that's going to come is going to fall in air that's either slightly above freezing or close to freezing. So not like a hard freeze when you see the changeover from rain to snow, but you will, in fact, see that period of some heavier snow as we're taking a look at some of the weather model data here together. All right, here's a look at that watch area. Again, this has been posted by our friends over at the National Weather Service, and I want to see if they've got a higher resolution that can show you. But just know, central U.S., then moving into the eastern U.S., following this storm system, we'll see temperatures near or below freezing, and so with that, could pose a few problems across the region. Okay, quick check-in, who we have on here now. Then we'll take a close-up look at the weather models and how much snow that they are saying. It's 7:46 right now, 7:46 Eastern Time. Thank you for being with us. And if you haven't already liked or shared the program, as always, it is appreciated. All right, now I've got Joey says, I predict 1 inches on cars, decks, lawns, etc. Okay, Joey, all else being equal, climatology says you're probably correct on that. But I'm not going to rule out what the data is showing. The trends have been moving this puppy further and further east. It's had this trend for about 24 hours now, and that is going to place parts of New York State in line for some decent snow. And again, decent snow is hard to come by this time of the year. As you guys know, it's just you don't typically get enough cold air, and even when the air is cold enough to change it over to snow, typically you have warm ground temperatures that offset that, and so it doesn't always end up being an issue. But hey, let's take a look at some of the data together. I'll let you be the judge, and I'm going to take you on over here to Weather Bell. It kind of has a better kind of a better view of this. So this is the ensemble, and I'll break down what you're looking at in a moment, but this is basically for my own eyes. So tomorrow night we'll see a cold front arriving across western New York. You can see it northern Ohio, northern Indiana. That's rain, and then it will change over to the snow's going to wait for the second low. So first wave, cold front, it'll drop the temperature Monday, and then Tuesday, cold air is already in place across western New York, and then you've got that low pressure that moves across the lower Ohio River Valley, Tennessee River Valley, across the Appalachians, and then into New England. And then behind that, that's where we see, again, that potential of some heavy wet snow. So let's take a look at the newest run of the European forecast model. We'll slow this down. So we're going to start in the Plain states, a wet snowfall, and then it moves into parts of Illinois, Indiana. I'm going to pause it right here. This is 8 p.m. So the snow is basically, say, Interstate 69, which runs from Indianapolis to Fort Wayne. It begins tomorrow late 6 to 8 p.m., somewhere in there. It's probably going to start off as a brief period of a little bit of rain, and then that rain will cause evaporation or cooling. The temperatures will fall, and then you'll watch again on the back side what appears to be a pretty good deformation band, and with that the temperatures again go tumbling. So let's go on into the great state of Ohio here, and just kind of getting the general timing. So let's back up just a little bit. During the day, during the daylight hours, clouds increasing. Could have some very light precipitation, maybe some light rain between Indianapolis and Columbus. Late afternoon, early evening. We'll pause it here, 8 p.m. And then there's that changeover from light rain to light snow. And then the purple, that's a heavier snow. And so that begins to fall during the overnight here, say between Indianapolis, maybe just north of Cincinnati, to Dayton, to Columbus, to Cleveland. And then that moves its way right on into western New York. I'm going to show western New York now. So here's New York State. Again, this is the European forecast model from today, this afternoon. So in New York, again, Tuesday you're fine. Tuesday night, light rain changing to maybe a mixture of light rain and snow. And then Tuesday or Wednesday morning here, heavier snow begins to move into far western New York, Niagara Frontier, in earnest near Buffalo. Low pressure travels near the PA New York line. So this is in the morning. This is about 10:11 a.m. So it's rain for Syracuse at 10:11 a.m. Wednesday, but it's already changed over to snow in Rochester. And then there's that heavy snow into the afternoon and evening. On Wednesday, it'll be a heavy wet snow. What about temperature? Because obviously, if we're going to see it sticking, you're going to have to get that temperature down. So let's move. Okay, the 18Z just is coming in now. I don't think we'll have it in before this update, but let's move forward in time. So let me start you off Tuesday morning. This is Tuesday morning. Temperatures are in the 40s. They hold in the 40s throughout the day, maybe 50 for a high Tuesday. And then Tuesday night, they drop 30s, widespread. But you're slightly above freezing. So once we get into the snow, it's, with temperatures slightly above freezing, you're talking about slushy roadways if it comes down heavy enough to cover the roads. And then Tuesday, late afternoon and evening is when we see those temperatures again, near, maybe slightly below freezing, which could be enough to cause just a few tricky areas. Again, the snow, the heavy band of snow, probably 6 to 8 hours in duration, something like that. Could come down an hour at an inch plus per hour for a while. So that's the way it looks in New York. Again, we'll watch the temperature profile. Let's back into Ohio, where we're expecting that changeover from rain to snow for parts of Ohio. This is going to occur Tuesday evening. You can see temperatures are in the 30s. This is 8 p.m. Tuesday evening. Cleveland, 38 degrees. You make your way out towards Dayton, it's 45 at 8 p.m. But then the temperatures drop all night. And then by morning, Wednesday, you're talking about near freezing for much of central, northern Ohio, even down into the upper 20s into northwestern Ohio. here by Wednesday morning. That's the time the snow will be ending for you. Indiana, it's a similar situation. You can see the colder air associated with this, with 20s diving in behind it. So, all right, it's going to be a quick hitter, and then we'll watch the temperatures rebounding here as even during the afternoon, parts of southern Indiana is going to see some snow, but by afternoon you're talking about middle, maybe upper 40s. So that'll melt what little bit of snow for southern Indiana. But where it's deeper and where it does accumulate heavier, maybe northeastern Indiana, maybe Fort Wayne. I would say maybe near Dayton, Columbus to Cleveland in Ohio. Temperatures would be hard pressed to escape middle 30s. So you'll get some melting, but again, could be a late April storm. Could have several inches of snow. Taking a look at that next, then we'll wrap this up. Right now we've got 25 on here. Thank you for being on. If you don't mind, a quick like and share and a thumbs up with the program. It's always appreciated. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing that. Let's take a look at snowfall totals according to the European, and we'll compare that over with the GFS, which these are my two preferred models at this range. It's Sunday night. We're talking about a storm that begins about 2 days from now, about 48 hours out. So here's a look at total snowfall. We'll start you for Indiana. And you can see it brings snow, an inch or maybe a slushy inch into southern Indiana. Not a ton. But you head up to near Indianapolis, it shows 3-4 inches of snow. You head up northward, maybe Rensselaer to South Bend to Fort Wayne. That's where locally could be 6 inches of snowfall. Let's jump on over into Ohio. And similar deal, northern part of the state could be looking at locally 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 inches of snow. The data is suggesting it's going to be heavier for New York. So here's your New York totals according to the European forecast model. And not buying this completely yet, but you're talking about winter storm criteria even for New York standards in western New York, where it's showing widespread 6 to 7, maybe 8 inches of snow, and it's the heavy wet stuff. So it's going to have a lot of liquid associated with that. It's going to be dense and heavy. And considering that we've got foliage now developing, that could bring down some limbs. That could bring down, again, some wires. So if it holds course, if it comes on as advertised right here by the Euro, could have a few power outages, that sort of thing. It's heavy enough for that. Now here's the GFS. This came in later this afternoon. It's a little bit further south. You can see you got, what is it, 7 inches of snow north of Columbus, south of Cleveland. So what is that, Medina maybe? I'm trying to think of some of the towns that are located in that area. Maybe Ashland, Ohio, showing those heavier snow totals. Into Indiana, this is, again, the GFS. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what the other model is showing. It's a little further south, so the GFS it's not quite as heavy across central northern Indiana, but it shows 2 inches of snow down along the Ohio River, which is a real rarity for this late in the season. You're just week and a half away from the Kentucky Derby, and you're talking about snowfall. So anyway, that's pretty impressive, and it does show much heavier amounts for parts of New York State. This one actually brings the heaviest south of the Niagara frontier, so there's a big difference in New York. So between the GFS and the Euro, and you can see that pop across the southern tier. That's showing a foot plus. Southern tier, and again across portions of the Adirondacks, you get into the green, maybe some of the White Mountains from New Hampshire and Vermont. Also showing again where's that potential of heavier snowfall. All right, I said this would be 10-12 minutes. It looks like I've gone about 15, so I went long. That's all right. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up. Don't want anybody to be surprised. We will be talking in more detail about this. We will add some of this content for our regular 8:45 show, where we do cover some news and some politics. That's Weather Live at 8:45. That's on Facebook. Come on over with Lisa Ray and myself. We'd love to have you. Otherwise, I'll be sure to update this weather channel as we head on into the day tomorrow. Keep the likes, the shares going. As always, it's appreciated. JJ on here along with Robin Kuhlman. Great to see you. She says, yay, the early show. Yeah, I didn't announce this one. Just decided on the way back. earlier. We did a little traveling this weekend, but decided that this was not one that we want to ignore. So we're giving you guys the notice. There are no winter storm watches yet for the Ohio River Valley. There are no winter weather advisories for the Ohio River Valley, but that's not the case further west for our friends across the plains. And you're looking at it where in the light blue or that aqua color, that's a freeze watch, winter weather advisories, northern Kansas, northeastern Kansas, and northern Missouri. That will likely be expanded. So this area that we're interested in, it's going to go from... So really, it's this corridor here to Columbus, and let me back that out just a little bit. Let our friends up in New York kind of see what we're thinking as well. And let's turn that radar off. I've got current temperatures on here, and no, wait, okay, yeah. So that one temperature was off there. All right, so let's get this fixed, and we'll show you the area that again we're interested in. Clear the whiteboard. All right, go. And this is the area. Okay, something like this. Potentially impacted by what will likely be, again, a very late season storm. Heavy, wet snow possible anywhere in this path. Something like that is my best guess. But even in southern Indiana, a few inches possible. So keep that in mind, inch or two. We'll continue to monitor the situation. Thanks for being here. Got another program to get on here in about 45 minutes. Do my best to get on time. You know, it's probably going to be more like 8:55, but we'll do our best. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Thank you.